Hey, this is Ramon, channel is Alpha 4, and I've been having to respond to certain questions for the last year. And I'm tired of responding to them, so I want to make a video that I can just link back when I get inundated with a certain comment that I get. This is concerning my video response to Godless Cranium. Now, I have other videos that are much more popular than my video responding to Godless Cranium. I have some videos that have about 10,000 views. But my normal average video gets anywhere from 25 to 100 views. That's my normal videos. But like I said, I have some videos that do very well that are in the thousands to 10,000 view range. My response to Godless Cranium is not that high. It's with that video, it's basically troll bait. Trolls love to come in and comment on that video and then search through my archive. And they start critiquing all my older videos. And I'll be honest with you, them arguing with me on the religion thing doesn't really bother me at all. I present with them the facts, I present with them the truth. If they don't agree with it, or if they don't agree with my opinion, that's fine. We have difference of opinions. If we disagree on the facts, well then there's nothing I can do to have that conversation. If we're not agreeing on the same facts, we can't have a conversation. So it's like, fine. So if that's not the problem, what is the problem? They accuse me, the trolls that I attract in this video, accuse me of being a fake martial artist, of being a dishonest Christian, and only making videos for views. And I get these comments all the time, only off of the Godless Cranium response video. And it is getting annoying. I do block people, I do silence them, but I don't want to. I don't want to be blocking people. So I'm going to make this video as a response to the trolls that are going to try to comment off of it. And I get it, you're trolls, whatever. But some of you might not be trolls. Some of you might just not like me. So for those people, the people who are not trolls, but just honestly have a problem with my approach to things, this video is for you. For the trolls, I realize there's nothing I can say, so I'm not worried about that. But I'm talking specifically to the people who just have a problem with that video. So let's address the three concerns. First concern that they seem to have is that this channel was not originally a martial arts channel. It was originally a martial arts channel. Everything on this channel was originally only talking about martial arts. My first 52 videos are just martial arts videos. Now, there is some question as to the language. They say, well, is it a fitness channel? Is it a weightlifting channel? Is it a martial arts channel? The answer is yes. It is and was all three. I include weightlifting, philosophy, and martial arts as one thing because I am a pancreationist, and those are the three elements to pancreation. I originally did martial arts when I was a little kid at the Boys and Girls Club. Then I learned Taekwondo from a local master, and then my mentor taught me Taekwondo, and he learned Taekwondo while he was in Korea. So that is my experience with traditional martial arts, and then I got into pancreation. From pancreation, which I learned through research and study, I then competed on a local level. I went as far as Dallas, but mostly down in the Rio Grande Valley. I competed in a thing called Fighting in the Park. Now, down here, older fighters like myself, we have a term for that type of fighting. We call it underground fighting. Depending on the region you're from, you might have different terminology. You might call it pro-AM or amateur fighting, or you might call it unsanctioned fighting. So if you understand those terms, you know what I'm talking about. Now, the number I'm going to say for the number of fights I was in is actually a low ball number because I stopped counting at some point at how many fights I was in. And if I was to give you the actual number, it would sound completely unbelievable. So I will simply say that I was in at least 300 fights. My first amateur fight was 16, and my last underground, unregulated fight was unsanctioned fight was literally last year when me and a buddy decided to bang heads just for old time's sake. But my last one that was in front of an audience, I was 30. So from the age of 16 to the age of 30, I fought almost every single weekend. Minus 1 year where I didn't. Because I was in love with a chick and she wasn't really into the martial arts stuff, so I took a break. Even when I was sick with my cancer scare, I still did martial arts every single week. And as after my cancer scare, when I was training clients, and I would train anywhere from 4 to 7 hours a day, not consecutively. I would train clients, I would train myself, I would go and compete, I would spar. So that kind of stuff. Now when I say compete, I mean fellow underground fighters. I don't mean the UFC or anything like that. There's a really fun story of when I got sick from diabetes because I had gotten fat because I had changed careers to a stationary career when I was 33. When I tried to get back in shape, I went to a local jiu-jitsu place that for a while there was a farm for the UFC. I went there, and by the way, farm is just what we call it. I don't know if it was an official farm, but there were people from there that would end up going and competing in the UFC. I don't think any of them were really successful, to be honest. But when I went there, the head trainer or the head coach of that school asked me what kind of martial arts I used to do. I told him pancration. I told him that I used to compete. And then he told me basically an apocryphal story of my own life, saying, hey, there was this local guy that used to compete here. He'd been in a lot of fights. So even though my name isn't out there, what I did locally was known. So that's it. That's my career as a fighter. I won more fights than I lost, and the fights that I did lose were mostly to friends who I would fight with multiple times. So people who I fought with multiple times would figure out how to beat me, then I'd figure out how to beat them, then they'd figure out how to beat me again, and I'd go back and forth because I did this for years. I fought through multiple generations of fighters in the local scene, and that was the end of it. I used to record all my fights, and then because I got worried about lawsuits, I deleted them all. But I uploaded multiple ones onto YouTube, and I only saved one. And that's the first video that's on this channel, is a spar with a guy named Randy. I thought he was doing well. He was new in the sport, but he did a good job, and I won, so I like that. But yeah, that's my history with fighting. So for those who keep on saying, oh, I don't fight a certain way, or I don't use a certain style, or I fight stationary, so therefore I must be a fake martial artist. Actually, the person who taught me martial arts didn't have any legs. He was diabetic. He got a staph infection that then became gangrenous. He lost his legs. And so the person teaching me martial arts would teach me stationary. He had fake legs. And specifically, when he first started teaching me, he only had one fake leg. So the reason why I fight stationary is because the person who taught me martial arts fought stationary. The term that we used, and this is not an official term, this is just a term that kind of jokingly we used, was mountain tiger style. Meaning mountain because we were stationary, and tiger style because we were using our hands. That's why we called it that. He taught me Tai Chi, he taught me Taekwondo, he taught me basic philosophy, and he gave me a lot of books on yoga. So that's that. So for those wondering what this channel was before, it was dedicated to philosophy. And by the way, it's dedicated to philosophy, not religion. I know I'm talking a lot about religion, but I only got about 10 chapters left in the Bible for Genesis. And then after that, I'm going to move on to another book. I also talk about the Quran. There are videos on here talking about tons of topics. This is a channel dedicated to a myriad of philosophies, specifically philosophies of religion and theology. That's stuff that I happen to be very interested in, so that's what I share on this channel. I have another channel where I talk about other interests, such as comic books and movies. For those who simply can't stand the fact that I'm Christian and yet I don't take the Bible literally, and a lot of atheists call me a hypocrite for that. So what I want you to do is to look up Catholic interpretations of the Bible and search, and you will see that Catholics do not interpret the Bible entirely literally. We take it as allegorical, but we take the metaphors as containing truths, meta-truths, greater truths. So we believe that the Bible is more true than the reality that it represents. I know that's hard for a lot of you to understand, but Catholics from the beginning, from 33 AD, have never interpreted the Bible literal. Some Catholics have, some Catholics called traditionalists currently do, but most Catholics going back to what we call the Church Fathers did not take a literal interpretation of the Bible. And I believe it was Gregory, although it may have been St. Ambrose, could have been Ignatius, could have been Origen, it probably was Origen, was talking about how with Genesis and with Jonah, about how it is a mistake to take those literal, as they are clearly polemic against the previous religions that surrounded the early pre-Israelites. That's going back to the beginning of the Catholic Church and the beginning of Christianity. That has been the stance of how Catholics interpret the Bible all the way through. One of the complaints that the Protestants, the Reformers, that Martin Luther, that Calvin, that Wycliffe had against the Catholic Church is that we don't take a completely literalist view of the Bible. And therefore they say we don't follow the Bible because we interpret it and we try to look for the meaning of the metaphors and we try to look for the moral lesson in the stories that the Bible contains, and we don't view the Bible as one book, but as a collection of many books in many genres, with many literary styles, dependent on the writer's skill and the audience that writer was speaking to. We also believe that it originated with an oral tradition. So we have a different view of the truth of Scripture than literalists do. We are not literalists. We don't take the entire Bible literal. Now, some parts of the Bible we do, some we don't. The histories we will take as literal, and then we will compare what the Bible claims versus what history shows and archaeology shows. That's how we approach the Bible. And then is that somehow I am dishonest by being a Catholic and a martial artist and a philosopher. I don't know how to answer that claim. I'm as honest as I can be. I'm telling the complete truth. Just because you don't agree with my truth doesn't make me dishonest. All right, and then lastly is that I'm just making my videos for views. I am on YouTube. Everybody who's on YouTube makes videos for views. I want people to watch my videos. Yes, I would love to be monetized. Yes, I would love to have ads run before, during, and after each one of my videos. But I'm not. I don't have a large enough audience for that. But if I did, I would. I would love to have a Patreon. I would gladly take donations. I am a human. I need money to eat, to live, for my vehicle, to have gas, to go buy groceries. I need money. And I'm also an American and a capitalist. There's a really weird double standard that atheists have when it comes to religious people on YouTube. And that's that they feel that religious people shouldn't be making money off their religious views. I got news for you. I'm not doing simony. I'm not telling you, hey, if you give me money, I'll give you magic. That's not what I'm doing. But I do need to make a living. And this channel is originally a martial arts channel, and now it's a philosophy channel. I still put up martial arts videos at least once a month because I want this channel to keep that thread of martial arts going. So I hope that answers the complaint, and For anyone who gives a response from that video, this is the video that I am going to link underneath your response. You will get this video. If you don't like that, don't subscribe to my channel. You don't have to watch my videos. No one's making you. So to the one person who downvotes all my videos in the first minute, before there's enough time to watch my video, to the trolls that quote from my video responding to Godless Cranium and say that I have a monotone voice and that I'm very dry. I have a monotone voice and I'm very dry. My humor is very dry. It's true. So I would like to have a dialogue with you, and I do believe in free speech, but that doesn't mean I'm just going to let you say whatever you want in my comments. I will block people who get too aggressive. I will block people who go after my Muslim viewership, because that happens more than a few times. And if you start throwing around insults, I will block you. I will delete your comments off my channel and I will block you. So I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. All right, peace, like, and subscribe. Talk to you all later. Enjoy.